All please rise. Commissioner Mike Brothers leads in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mike Carruthers, Joliet Township.
Here.
Scott Lager, Homer Township. Kim Mitchell, Shanahan Township. Barbara Peterson, Washington Township is here. Hugh Stippen, Frankfurt Township.
Here.
Thomas White, Troy Township.
Here.
Chairman Len Malone, Manhattan Township.
Here. The November 2017 meeting minutes, I'd like to entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second by Carruthers. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Madam Secretary, do you have any announcements?
Mr. Chairman, variance cases will be heard to a conclusion by this commission this evening. The other cases will advance to the Land Use Development Committee, this county boardroom, next Tuesday, December 12th at 10:30 a.m.
Thank you. At this time, all those that are planning on giving testimony tonight, I'm going to swear you in mass. So raise your hand if you're going to plan on giving testimony and say I do after I swear you in. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Thank you. This time we ask if you would turn off your cell phones, please. First case, the zoning case ZC-17-031. We got a request from staff to continue this to the January 2nd, 2018. I'd like to entertain a motion. We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. At this time, just so everyone that has cases tonight is aware, the commission has 7 members. We only have 5 tonight, and you do need 4 as a quorum. And you do need 4 yes votes for approval on your case. So if anyone who has a case tonight would like to continue their case until there's a full commission, when your case is called, please come up to the dais. Okay, first case on the agenda, zoning case ZC-17-027. Janine from our staff will open up this case.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Zoning case ZC-17-027 takes place in Green Garden Township. The owner is Dan Gonzalez, and the applicant is requesting a special use permit for the keeping of livestock farm animals, and also a variance for the maximum number of animal units allowed from 2 to 13 units. And with this request, the applicant would like to keep 14 sheep, 4 goats, 2 cattle, and 40 chickens on an R1 zone property. The applicant is currently in violation for keeping sheep on the property. I have an aerial image here for you with the parcel outlined in red. It is a 2.51 acre parcel within the Winterset Haven subdivision. This is a plat of survey. The property is improved with a single-family residence, a large pole building, a smaller barn, and a detached garage. As I mentioned, the property is zoned R1 and is surrounded by R1 zoning to the north and the south and the west, and there is A1 zoning to the east. There's some images of this site. This is a view looking down the driveway towards the residence, and you can see that there's a large pole building on the right-hand side or to the north there. There is also a view of the smaller barn on the property and also the penned-in area where the animals are being kept. have a view of some of the animals inside the pen, and then also the chickens there inside their enclosure. Staff is recommending approval of the special use permit for the keeping of livestock/farm animals with 5 conditions, and I will read those over to you. Our standard condition is the condition number 1. Number 2, an agricultural waste management plan shall be submitted within 6 months of county board approval. The special use shall comply with all requirements of the Will County Health Department, including the following. Any animal confinement area shall be at least 50 feet from a water well, and any manure pile shall be at least 75 feet from a water well. Condition 4, roosters are prohibited. And condition 5, a maximum of 2.5 animal units only are permitted on the property at any one time unless the variance for maximum number of animal units is approved. And staff is recommending denial of the variance for maximum animal units from 2 to 13 units. Staff received comments from the Will South Cook Soil and Water Conservation District and the Will County Health Department. And you will see that those comments have been incorporated into the conditions 2 and 3 of the staff's recommendation. The Green Garden Plan Commission heard this case on October 2nd, and the Green Garden Township Board also heard the case in October. I had provided a separate memo with their just saying that they had recommended approval, and it's important to note that they only heard the special use permit. They did not consider the variance request at their meetings. The special use permit, in staff's professional opinion, does not have the potential to alter the essential character of the area. Within that Winterset Hayden subdivision, there are actually 3 parcels that have obtained special use permits for the keeping specifically of horses in these instances. So there are parcels within that subdivision that already have special use permits for animals. It's important to note, though, that none of those parcels have variances for the maximum number of animal units allowed. Typically, these parcels have 1 or 2 horses on the property. Staff is recommending denial of the variance, as I mentioned. The applicant would be permitted a maximum of 2.5 animal units on the property if the special use permit was approved. There's really no unique circumstance or hardship as to why this variance request is before you today. The 14 sheep, 4 goats, 2 cattle, 40 chickens does have the potential to alter the essential character of the area. And as I mentioned, the applicant would be permitted under the special use permit already 2.5 animal units. So we'd be able to have a combination of animals such as 10 chickens and 4 sheep potentially. And that concludes staff's analysis.
Okay, the chickens, I want to focus on that, not the sheep, goat, or cattle. I know the county passed an ordinance last year, year before, in regards to chickens. I have a couple questions. One is, what are the requirements to have chickens on the property, and how many chickens constitute an animal unit?
Sure. So as it stands right now, chickens would be allowed in and of themselves on the property, on the R1 property. We have 20 chickens equals 1 animal unit, and you would be allowed 20 chickens per acre in this instance.
So essentially, if they know their animals, they'd be allowed 50 chickens?
Yes.
Okay. All right. But is there an application process for that? Because there was an ordinance?
No, they're just permitted within that, yeah, as of right.
Oh, okay.
In the R1.
In the R1.
Okay.
I believe all the way up to R3, and Brad could.
I'm looking right now.
He's looking right now. I think it's up to R3. They're permitted.
I thought there was a process that they had to apply for it, because when that was all coming down, that if there was, smaller lots, like R4 or 5 or 6, there was a process. I thought there was a process they had to go through when it was 12,500 square foot lot. I thought,
Yeah.
but if that's okay here, I guess it's a moot point.
Yeah, typically we get phone calls asking about that, but you have to have a minimum of, I believe it's 12,500 square feet for your parcel, and then you would be permitted 1 per 2,500 feet, but that's in the, I believe that's like R2A and R3 on down.
Okay.
But Brian could speak to those specifics.
All right, so really, is it really, okay, so that comes in with the animal units then?
Yeah, so in this instance, it's lumped in together since the applicant would have a combination of sheep and goats.
Okay, so it's
potentially
20 chickens per unit.
per unit.
Okay, any
And
other
for our
questions?
one, there, no roosters are allowed.
Do we have any other questions? Thank you. Okay, is the applicant here tonight? Would you like to come down? Okay, please come down. While the applicant's coming down, I'd just like to ask this question. Are there any objectors or concerned citizens for this case who would like to speak? Okay. Please state your name for the records.
Eddie Gonzalez.
Okay. Staff recommend approval on the special use and denial on the variance. Do you have anything that you'd like to speak on?
No, when I went to Green Garden meetings, I told them that I didn't want the cow, that I just wanted the chickens and then sheep. For some reason, I was assuming that they would send me the information. So now that I heard this, it's a different amount of animals that I requested.
As far as, just so you're aware, when you go to Green Garden, they're just basically a recommending body on that. They can make their recommendations to the county. The county has ultimate decision, just so you're aware of that. So are you saying that you have different totals of animals? That's what is written on this report?
Yes.
What did you say they were? 10 sheep?
Right now.
What are you asking for?
I'm asking for 10 sheep and 40 chickens, that's all I'm asking.
10 sheep and 40 chickens. And
If
the
it's
sheep is
possible.
considered one unit?
2 sheep are 1 unit.
2 sheep, so that would be 2 sheep per unit, so that would be 5 units. He'd have, right now it's at 7 units. Am I correct, with 40 chickens?
Yes.
So you're requesting 7 units. But 2 sheep is 1 unit. You understand what I'm saying? You're allowed 2.5 units on that property. So 10 sheep would be 5 units, and 40 chickens, and 20 chickens per unit would be 2 more, so that'd be 7 units is what you're requesting, am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. Then we have any other comments to make on that?
Well, has this been adjusted since the first time you filed your application? Janine, what's going on? I asked 2 questions.
Go ahead, you're on.
So, as I mentioned, the applicant was in violation for having farm animals on the property in general was a violation, but then having over what would be permitted with the special use permit. So at the time when the applicant came into the office, we told him to tell us specifically exactly how many animals and what kind you're looking to have on the property, because this is a one-shot deal. For the variance request, you need to have that number, and then you cannot exceed it unless you come back before the board. So we worked with the applicant at that time, and the numbers and the amounts changed. We thought we had a final number, and that's why we had moved forward with it to public hearing to you today. Well, 2 months ago, and it kept getting continued, so.
Yes, Brian?
Well, Mr. Chairman, if the request is to go from 2 animal units to 13, then seeing that there's 10 sheep, right?
Correct.
And that's basically half, so there's 5 units right there. So with the other 8 units are other animals, which, are they just chickens?
Yeah,
Yes.
40 chickens.
40 chickens.
Well, he's saying 40, but 8 is really 160 chickens. Could be, or it could be any other combination of any other animal.
He's only asking for 7, he said no.
Yeah.
7 units.
7 units he wants, the 2.
Well,
He's allowed 2.5 units?
I mean, yeah, you can, I guess we could adjust the request downwards, but, I mean, if that's his true intention, fine, but if next month now he wants something else, now he can't have it, so.
No, and actually I'm going with a big number actually, because like in reality right now I have 15 chickens, that's all I have. And I'm saying 10 sheep because they reproduce, they would have babies. But I just wanna keep 6 or 7. But I'm thinking like, in 2 months you show up and take pictures and I have 3 new babies, then I got them. You see, but I just wanna keep 6 or 7, that's
Well,
all.
how it works is this. You got 2.5 units allowed.
Okay.
A sheep is a half a unit.
All right.
So 2 sheeps per unit, okay? And a chicken, the chickens are
20 chickens.
20 chickens per unit?
Yeah. Per unit.
Okay, so when you say 10 sheep, that means 5 units, and 40 chickens is 2 units, so that you're asking for 7 units. Is that what I thought I heard you say earlier?
Yes,
Okay, how many do you actually have?
I have 15 chickens right now and 10 sheep.
15 chickens and 10 sheep.
Yes.
But you're asking for 40 chickens, you only have 15.
What I told Green Garden is this, if it's possible, that's what I wanna have, but I won't. I don't wanna go on with this anymore. I wanna walk out of here knowing what can I have.
That's what we're gonna make a decision on that variance, but there's limits on what's allowable, and when you exceed that, you're asking for the variance, that's the decision we have to vote on. We understand you pared it down, but we can't condition a variance, can we? How about a special use permit?
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
We've got conditions.
Could we condition the special use permit for the number of
Second.
animals if we had to?
We do have the condition 5 on there. I did put the maximum of 2.5 would be permitted on the parcel unless the variance request is granted. So the only way for him to exceed it is if he gets a variance for that quantitative number.
So we'd have to vote against the variance when we thought we were going to change the variance as it stands.
No, you
amend
can
the
change it.
variance?
You can amend the change. You can amend it so it's
So we
less
have amended it to
restrictive.
7 then, from 2 to 7 instead of 2 to 13, Matt?
If that-
It's
More restrictive, you're okay to do.
Correct.
Brian?
Okay.
What Matt is saying is exactly correct, but I just want to make sure that everybody's clear here that that's what we're doing. I mean, we're setting an ultimate limit if we wanted to go that way, but I guess first I would ask, something for you to consider is, do we need to do that? Is there a reason we should do that? Are neighbors objecting? Is the township want something else? I know Janine was recommending denial of the variance. Maybe if the number was different, it'd be a different opinion. I don't know, so I'm just wondering what that number is that may make all parties happy.
He could have, for instance, he could have 4 sheep and 20 chickens, and he'd be at his 2.5.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that would be without a variance, that would just be.
Yes, without
20
a-
chickens?
10 chickens.
4
Or
sheep.
10 chickens?
Sorry, 10.
No,
It's 20 chickens per unit, am I right?
yeah.
So it would be 2 sheep and 10 chickens. Would be 2.5 and he's okay.
4 sheep.
4 sheep.
Or 4 sheep and 2
10
chickens.
chickens would be 2.5 animals.
Whether it's 4, 14, 24 sheep, or 50 chickens, or 10 chickens, who's gonna keep track of it?
Well, and that's, like I said, the applicant is currently in violation for exceeding the number allowed for having the farm animals already on
Was
the
this
property.
complaint driven?
Yes.
Well, I see Green Garden doesn't have any objections, and I don't see any objectors at the gallery. That's the reason I'm asking one. Usually if there's somebody who strongly objects, the room is full of people.
Or we have letters in here, and we don't
Right.
have any letters in the report either.
Well, keep in mind that when we vote on a variance, that variance stays with the property. Keep that in mind.
Well, I'm not arguing one way or another, I'm just asking, I'm just,
We're just trying to ascertain what's going on.
the information.
Exactly.
I think it's gonna be, it'll be constantly changing, to be honest with you. As he said, the sheep will have babies.
Yeah, well, the
Do you
sheep,
have laying hens, or you have laying hens, or they lay eggs?
yeah, that's-
Okay, and you have 15 right now?
Yes.
Okay. Now, is that a comfortable number? Or have you ever had more than 15 layers?
Yes, I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're
The
gonna...
board, the board is reasonable, but when we see, that it's an excessive amount that you're requesting, and we're, the controls on how do we keep track of it and all that,
I'm voting no.
That's, I just think that even with 10 and you're asking request for 10 and 40 is something that might not, it might not pass.
Which I'm fine with that, I'm fine with that, even 6 or 7, like I said, or 5, I'm fine with it.
6 or 7 what?
Sheep,
Sheep.
yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay, somebody do that unit.
So this is the way I look at it, is if there's 2 sheep per unit, and there's 8 sheep is 4 units, and 20 chickens is 1 unit, I myself would say that's a reasonable amount. It's 2.5 acres. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
That's why I
20.
asked about the 5. That's why I asked Matt if we
Yeah.
could lower it to the 5, because that's what he's asking. And that's more reasonable than 13. 13's a lot of animals.
Oh, you said they're lowering it to 5.
To
5
lower it to
units?
5 units.
All right. That's what, I agree with Tom. I think if he thinks 5 units is something that we're looking at 5 units, which would allow you 8 sheep and 20 chickens.
I said, I'm good with it.
Can, if we go that route, will the staff change their recommendation on variance?
Probably not. There really is no unique circumstance or hardship why this
For
number of animals is
them to
needed.
have any of these?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have an overshot with the site?
Just can go to the aerial.
Right there.
There you go.
I can't.
Yeah, it's in the middle, right in the middle of the
Right there,
picture.
right there. It's not, it's sort of a square lot. Not square, it's mostly square.
Yeah, it's pretty square.
Sure, silo?
I took it down. You was.
Okay,
Yes, Brian.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I know Janine already said this, but I just want to point out, this subdivision already has at least 2, maybe 3 lots that has special use permits for horses on there. So there are other agricultural
Uses on there.
uses in this
In the
neighborhood.
vicinity?
Right in this neighborhood.
are there sheep or chickens?
I'm not aware of sheep, but there's definitely horses.
There's horses in the neighborhood. 3 parcels have horses, but again, they all have within what they are allowed with their acreage. So they have 2 horses, if they're 2 acres. There's a lot of, they're about 2 to 2.5 acres parcels in here. So they all are keeping within what would be allowed with the special use and not having variances.
Okay, and he has allowed what with his special use?
2.5 animal units. So that would be
Total?
That would be 4 sheep and
4 sheep, 10
10
chickens,
Or 2 horses.
10
or
chickens.
2 horses,
2.5 horses.
10 chickens. And that's why, yeah, we usually go with this, the full
Including-
number. So
2.5 animal units.
That's what's allowed right now. Let me ask you a question. You understand that if you have lambs, which you will, that you're gonna have to immediately sell the lambs off as soon as they're, or slaughter them, correct? Okay.
Dinner.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's fine, as long as we,
Fresh meat.
I'm willing to go to 5 units. If,
Reason, if it's, as long as you're reading, we're not saying that it's born, that you have to get rid of it the next day, but,
Yeah, if he's using it for family food, et cetera, I'm willing to go to 5 units.
okay. All right. Should we make a motion on that? To amend the request? Can we get to that? Yeah. Okay. This is what we'll do. All right. Are you, that's what we're gonna agree to, or that's what we're gonna vote on? We're gonna make a motion to amend it to 5 units, which means you could have 8 sheep and 20 chickens. And then we're gonna bring it up for amendment, and then we're gonna vote on it.
Okay.
Do you have anything else to add?
No,
Are you satisfied with that?
I am satisfied with it.
8 sheep,
Yes, I am satisfied.
and how many chickens?
20.
20?
Yeah.
That's a lot of eggs, if
Yes.
they're good layers.
Yeah.
Oh, those,
Now, bear in mind, you could, if you had only 10 chickens, you could have 9 sheep. It all adds up to units. And I guess I could explain that to you later. I don't want to confuse you, but if you only had 10 chickens, you
you're
could have 9 sheep.
confusing, I'm totally confused.
Five units is what he can have, so that could be any combination.
That's correct.
8 sheep and, how many?
20
15?
chickens.
20.
Or you get rid of the 20.
Okay, you have a
get
guess.
horse.
So like right now, I got 15 chickens and 10 sheep.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna have to get rid of
Couple
them.
sheep,
You have
couple
to get
sheep
rid
for
of the
dinner
sheep.
time went out right
Are they
now.
It's
bred?
not just coming.
Are the sheep bred? All of them?
4.
4?
Yep.
5 units, you got, each sheep is a half a unit. So if you got 10 sheep, that's 5 units. You gotta either get rid of some chickens, or you gotta get rid of one of the sheep. Sheep, they'll explain it to you after the case.
Get rid of the chickens.
You got 5 units is what we're gonna give you. That's how we rate it. We don't rate it by this number, that, we can say all we want, but you got any combination of animals equal to 5 units is what, we're just giving you examples on the 8 sheep and 20 chickens, okay?
Okay.
All right, you okay with that? Do you have anything else to add?
No, that's,
Okay, thank you, Rick.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman, on case number ZC 17-027, I make a motion to amend the original motion to approval of a special use permit for the keeping of our next unit, pardon me.
The variance.
On the variance. Approval of variance for a maximum number of animal units equal 5 units.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Is there any further
Who had
discussion?
who made the motion?
White. You and White. Any further discussion?
That was the variance.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay, we're gonna vote for the special use permit on this case, ZC 17-027. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, on the same case mentioned, approval of special use permit for the keeping of animals, of livestock/farm animals with the following 5 conditions as presented by staff.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Next, we have a second request.
On the same case number, approval of a variance for maximum number of animal units to 5 units.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Sir, we have some paperwork for you, don't leave.
No, it's got to change because it's.
Okay.
It's got to change.
I'll
All right.
let him know he has to come back next Tuesday.
Janine, would you go to, maybe explain to him a little bit about the units? And maybe if you have his email address, send him something on that,
Yeah.
okay?
I'll put it right.
Could you catch him right now and get his email address?
And be sure that he knows that when they lamb, he's going to have to get rid of the lambs.
He could call me, I'll give him his number.
I'll talk with him because he's also still currently in violation, so he's gonna.
You'll talk to him
Oh,
about
yeah,
all that,
so
so he understands.
Code enforcement
There's a lot of
officer and I
information
actually-
going on there, and I just want to make sure he's understand. He's, we amended it, but so
I
we
swear
understand.
that isn't the same guy that was here originally.
Okay.
Tell him he can take off, I think he's waiting now.
Next case on the agenda, zoning case ZC-17-048. We have the applicant Dennis Belsha. We have a request for variance, and Jessica from our staff will open up the case.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant Dennis Belsha is requesting a variance for rear yard setback in order to construct a 3-season room addition at 21500 Basswood Lane in Plainfield, Illinois. This property is part of the Caroline Lakes community, a gated community on River Road. On the screen here is an aerial of the property. The current residence is located about 26 feet from the rear property line. According to the subdivision plat, the rear yard setback is 20 feet. This means that a 6-foot addition of the rear of the home would be possible, but no more than 6 feet would be permitted.
It was inch.
On the screen is an image of the platted survey. The proposed 3-season room is approximately 150 square feet and extends 10 feet from the existing home, and as a result, it encroaches into that setback, the 20-foot setback. The property is zoned R6. It's surrounded by R6 zoning, and like I said, it is part of that Caroline Lakes subdivision, that community. And all of those properties are R6 and part of a planned unit development. The first image here is a computer-generated image of the proposed three-season room addition. The second one is actually the rear of the home, and where you see kind of the concrete slab is where that addition really would start right there, and connect to the back patio doors. The first image here is actually an adjacent property that also has a sunroom addition. It appears to be comparable in size to what this applicant is proposing. And then the second image is of the rear of multiple adjacent properties. So you can see how it kind of curves around. All the homes have, each lot has a different width and a different length. So some lots are a little bit deeper than others, but they're all zoned the same. The first image here is an image of the residence, so off of Basswood Lane. And the second one is when you drive out of kind of his, what they call neighborhoods, his neighborhood, there are some sunroom additions you can see along the lake over there, but in the same subdivision. Staff is recommending approval of a variance for rear yard setback from 20 feet to 15 feet. Staff finds the plight of the owner is due to unique circumstance. Each lot in the Caroline subdivision does have a different width, a different length. So sometimes it makes it possible for one to be able to build an addition and meet setbacks, whereas another one wouldn't be able to. But really from the street side or from looking in the backyard, you couldn't be able to distinguish one from the other because a lot of the homes are really flush, one right up against each other. As shown in the images, sunroom or three-season rooms are prevalent in the Caroline Lakes community. A lot of individuals choose to build them. Specifically, there are a lot of sunrooms in the immediate vicinity, so we don't feel that there would be any sort of change in character. Even driving around, I noticed a lot of sunrooms in that community as well as others as I was driving through. So we're recommending approval of the variance, and that concludes staff's analysis.
Caroline, do they still have a homeowners association?
They do.
Was there any feedback from them?
I know when he comes in for the building permit, he will go talk to the homeowners association. They'll evaluate the aesthetics of it. Generally, from what I know, working with the homeowners association, as long as the three-season room doesn't extend more than 15 feet, they tend to recommend approval as long as it's aesthetically pleasing.
Does the homeowners association know about this request at this point?
Not yet. He hasn't
Okay, the
submitted.
reason why I say is because Caroline's come here before, and they've actually objected at certain times on certain things that are being done over there.
Well, the applicant could speak to that to see if he's reached out to them since that time.
Okay. Thank you.
Can you remember how Mike is saying in Caroline?
Are there any other questions to staff? Is the applicant here tonight? Yeah. Could you please come down? Please state your name for the records.
My name is Dennis Belsham.
Okay, was the homeowners association contacted on this?
Okay, I live in Dover.
Could you speak into the microphone?
I live in Dover, which is part of Caroline, one of the subdivisions in Caroline. And I spoke with our chairman of our architectural committee, which we have to submit an architectural request to the committee, the design of the room before we can go for a building permit. And then once we get that approved, we go for a building permit and then take it back to them. And then if everything...
Okay, I asked that only because they have objected to certain things that have been going on in there. I just want to make sure that at least they know about it, you went to the architectural committee. Only because we go down the road and then all of a sudden they come back and they object to it. And then
I won't do anything unless I get architectural committee approval.
Okay.
And then a building permit approval.
Right, we didn't know that, but that's why we asked it.
Sure, sure.
Okay, all right. Is there any other questions? Do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, that's probably it.
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna follow all the procedure.
Thank you. On case, zoning case ZC 17-048, I'd like to entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to case number ZC-17-048, I'll make a motion for approval of a variance for rear yard setback from 20 feet to 15 feet.
We have a motion, I have a second.
Second?
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Can you push in the, turn that mic on over there? Thank you. Next case on the agenda, zoning case ZC-17-049. The owner applicant is Ultimate LLC, Emad S. Suhar, and the request is for a map amendment, and Janine from our staff will open up the case.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Zoning case ZC-17-049 is for a map amendment from A2 to A1. The applicant has combined two A2 parcels and would like to rezone that A2 parcel to A1. Those two parcels combined together equal 10.01 acres. And the applicant is looking to do this in order to be within the A1 zoning district since it has no restrictions on accessory storage area and also animal units. I have an aerial here with a parcel outlined in, well, I should say parcels outlined in red. As I said, there are two parcels that have been combined into one. It also has 676 feet of frontage along West St. Francis Road. This is a plat survey. Sorry, it's a little faded here. The property is improved with only one structure, and I'll point it out for you, is right here. On the plat survey, it's actually labeled as a frame garage. However, the assessor's records say that this is actually a dwelling. They say that it's a garage with a lofted living area space above. The applicant has stated that all of the plumbing has been taken out of this structure, that it's no longer used as a dwelling, and the applicant is proposing to construct a home, a residence right over here, and then an additional pole building. And when those building permits do come to our office, staff will verify that that dwelling unit has been removed from that existing structure on the property before a full occupancy permit can be issued for that proposed residence. As I mentioned, the parcel is zoned A2, and it is also surrounded by A2 zoning to the north, east, and west. And then directly to the south is actually the village of Frankfurt. It is R4 zoning. It is the Prairie Creek Townhome subdivision. These are some images of the site. This is looking north from West St. Francis Road along the driveway towards the property. And then that's an image of that dwelling that the assessor is calling it on the property, the 4-car garage with like a lofted living space above. I have an image looking across the street to those parcels to the south, that townhome subdivision, and then also looking east along West St. Francis Road. We have an image looking to the north to the parcels and then also to the west to the neighboring parcel. Staff received comments from the Will South Cook Soil and Water Conservation District and the Will County Health Department. Neither of those agencies had any objections to this zoning request. Staff is recommending denial of the map amendment from A2 to A1. When viewing this proposal within the context of the area, there is no A1 zoning in the vicinity. The parcel has an area, a little pocket of larger residential parcels that are zoned A2 and R1. To the south, as I mentioned, is a townhome subdivision, and then also to the north is a subdivision within Tinley Park. It's called Brookside Glen, and those lots have square footages of 15,000 square feet. The trend in development in this area is towards denser residential subdivisions. It's not towards larger agricultural pieces of land. The primary use within the area is residential, as I mentioned, and while A1 does permit residential use, it also permits unlimited farmhouses and certain more agricultural-related businesses such as a wholesale greenhouse or a nursery that would not be compatible with the surrounding land uses there. And the proposal also does not conform to our land resource management plan, which again classifies this area as a suburban development with residential densities of 2 to 4 dwelling units per acre. And that concludes staff's analysis.
Okay, on that building that is on the property,
Yes.
a couple things. You said that the tax assessor recognizes it as a dwelling, and then you said that the the applicant has altered the building by removing the plumbing.
I think that was done many years ago.
Okay,
From what I
now, then you mentioned something about removal of the building. Is the building going to actually be removed, or are they just altering the plumbing?
The freight garage is intended to stay on the property, but staff will do an inspection to ensure that the dwelling unit portion of it has been removed so that there's not a bathroom and a cooking facility within that lofted space.
Okay. Any other questions?
Is there septic field for that building?
Yes, for the existing building there.
Yes.
And the applicant has been working with the health department to have the new septic put in for the proposed residence.
Okay, thank you.
Well, there's the well. And there, I know what you're saying about a trend of development, but could this 10-acre parcel be part of that trend of development in the future? And isn't this good to have some air and some open space in some of these subdivisions? And you gotta keep in mind, I
Is
live
there
on
5
a,
and 10 acre lots alongside them?
It's all 5-acre lots along there.
I can go back.
Nearby is suburban residential.
Yeah.
Nearby, but it's not right there. Right there is all 5-acre lots along Francis Road.
Yeah, and this
And
little.
it's probably, I would guess, 5-acre lots are probably a half a mile anyways.
Well, they're showing it.
Yes,
3/4
right
of a mile.
here, this is the little
I don't think
pocket.
that shows
Wait,
everything.
say that again, Janine?
This is that little pocket that I had mentioned of these A2 and some R1
Oh.
parcels. And then we have here, this is actually been incorporated, it doesn't show it as such, but this is a planned residential subdivision within Tinley Park.
Oh, is it?
And then down here, this is existing townhome subdivision within Frankfurt.
What's that main road there?
Francis.
St.
Oh,
Francis.
Francis, yes.
One
that's-
that Home Depot's on?
Yeah.
It's the main road that goes through the unincorporated area of Frankfurt Square,
Yes.
between Harlem and R 45. Okay, anything else?
Thanks.
Thank you. Is the applicant here tonight?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record.
Good evening, John Moravia on behalf of the applicant, who's also the beneficial owner, is standing to my left.
Okay.
First and foremost, the building, the structure that was being viewed is basically a garage.
Could you speak into the microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. It's a garage. There's nothing there, there's no plumbing, there's no fixtures, it's plywood. The intention is to knock it down anyways. The intention is to construct a residence on one side, a 4,000 square foot barn on the other side, which is basically to store his equipment for his work. Some chicken, and that's about it.
Okay.
So the intention is not to run any sort of businesses, to run a farm or anything of that nature. The reason that we're going from 2 A2s to an A1 is a restriction on the size of the barn that he would construct. It's max, on an A2, we believe it's 3,000 square feet. Yeah. That's why he's going to an A1 to make it 4,000 square feet.
Okay, now do you, the staff, you saw the reasons why the staff is recommending denial. Do you have anything to say about that, about the trend of development or the size of the lots?
We understand that the trend in the area, but it's set back far enough and away from the street that realistically you wouldn't be able to see anything. As stated and shown in the plat, you've got 600 feet in the front. It's going to be manicured, normal residence style. It's just going to be an oversized house that's sitting on an oversized lot. It's not going to look, you're not going to see farm animals running around up onto St. Francis Road. It's all set back far enough, it's not going to interfere with any of the other residences. And as stated and shown on the map, all the other residences, at least directly around us, are all A2s. The only other residences that are of a higher density is across the street from on St. Francis, south of this property. And obviously, you wouldn't see anything unusual about this particular residence.
If I may, John?
Absolutely.
The next
Please
door-
state your name for the record.
Oh, my name is Ahmed Sudayer. I'm the owner. Can you possibly go back to that plot survey where it shows the lots?
Right there, oh, right there?
Where it shows the lots and the...
Okay, yes. Do we have a pointer up there? Do you want to use the pointer?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I think, which button is it?
The orange one, the yellow one.
This right here is...
Speak into the mic though when you do
Oh,
that.
sorry. This right here is about a 12-acre lot, and they have sheep right there, and they're going through, their driveway goes through right here, straight across, which is a big house there right now. It doesn't show it there. And then there's an Italian villa there owned by Katie. But that area does have farm animals. Right here, John, my neighbor, and Stephen King. I don't see that this is ever going to get developed with a lot of houses. This right here is a nursery. It has a bunch of nursery structures where they grow and sell to
And
landscapers.
what's directly to the north of you? Is that vacant?
Right above
What is it?
Right there. Is that vacant?
Yeah, there is a gas pipeline that goes through Midway,
Oh.
so they can never build anything there. Katie owns that, the lady that has a filler right there.
Okay.
That's where they had those fires a couple of weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago.
From the oil?
No, the houses got on fires, both of them.
Okay.
So all these lots are big lots.
Are all those lots on residential, on Francis Road, will all those have homes?
This has a home.
And those, how big are those lots, about 4 or 5 acres?
This, I think, is 5 acres.
Okay.
These are 2.5, I think.
Okay.
And then that's 5.
One to the east is 5,
Yeah, you got
and
my,
then 2.5 and 2.5. So they're either 2.5 or 5,
yeah.
and the ones above to the north are probably 5 since they're divided in half.
Yeah, they're cut up in pies, so he owns both of those pies. I was told that's 12 acres each. I'm not sure. Yeah, it could be 6 and 6.
So more than likely, what you're saying with the pipeline going through there, the land is probably not going to be subdivided.
Right here, there's nothing that can be built here. Because I talked to the pipeline, it cuts my corner of the property, and anything you go by the pipeline, you have to be 50 feet away.
Okay.
So unless they're building a little garage here or a little garage there, they can't really build too much. It cuts it on a diagonal,
Okay.
and it happens to be only 4 feet deep, and that's the jet fuel that goes to Midway.
Do you have anything else to add?
Additionally, part of this parcel, if we can go back to the plat of survey, please.
Right there?
Part of this property is flood zone, so you can't, it'd be very restricted in building on it as well,
And the stream.
as well as the stream. So realistically, the best use in this particular property is to combine it, put one house, and then the additional structure.
Okay. Do any of the commissioners have any questions for the applicant? Okay, do you have anything else to add?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Do you want me to turn it up?
It's fine.
That's fine. On zoning case ZC-17-049, I'd like to entertain a motion for requested map amendment.
Mr. Chairman, on the aforementioned zoning case, I make a motion for approval of a map amendment from A2 to A1.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this case? Roll call vote, please.
Carruthers?
Yes.
Wagner's not here, Mitchell's not here. Peterson votes yes. Stippen?
No.
White?
No.
Chairman Lumbelow?
Yes. Motion fails. Okay, now this goes to land use?
Yes, this goes to land.
This will go to Land Use Committee, and then it'll go to the county board. So you have 2 more shots at getting this approved at the county board level. Okay? Thank you.
Land use is next Tuesday, this county board, will at 10:30 in the morning.
Do we need to file anything or just
Pardon
appear?
me?
Do we need to file anything or just appear?
No.
No, you should
No.
show up and you could speak at those meetings.
Okay. Thank you.
And then the county board meeting is what, the 3rd Thursday?
Yeah.
At 10 a.m. or 9:30?
December 21st at 9:30.
December 20.
And then the Land Use Committee is what date?
Yes,
Next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
same place.
Does the staff have any announcements for the,
At 10:30.
Brian?
Tuesday
Does the staff have any announcements?
Thursday at 9.
Does any of the commissioners have any announcements?
Talk to the Frankfurt Township Supervisor, Jim Hustis.
That's a continue.
That was the Jabay one, continued.
Okay, I wish everyone a safe holiday, a happy holiday, and we'll see you all the first of the year, and I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting closed.